Good morning, everybody. I'm here to bring to you Colossians. Hopefully, you will understand this. Hopefully, you have some drink, or coffee, or other beverage that you like. It's actually pretty good this morning. Let's dive on in. Colossians 3, we're going to be starting at 11, but I'm going to back up to verse 10 so we have some context. Actually, verse 9. Do not lie to one another, seeing that you have put off the old self with its practices, and have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. Verse 11. Here there is not Greek and Jew, circumcised and uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave, free, but Christ is all and in all. It's a pretty powerful part of the chapter, especially in today's culture, right? We have all of this gender and skin tone and accent, and there's all tension, right? We just list up above the list of sins, right? In verses 5 through 9, all the way through 9. As long as you're not participating or doing in any of those, your race, who your background is, doesn't really matter in Christ. It's in fact awesome if you're African American and you're a believer. Go for it, brother. And these guys, Greek and Jew, they were not exactly friends normally, but in this letter, he's telling him that they are friends. They're brothers and sisters in Christ. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with realizing that the other one's a Greek, the other one's a Jew, one's a slave. There's no problem with recognizing what their skin tone is, what their class is, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you realize that you are a brother and sister in Christ. Because Christ is all and in all. And that's what matters. Nothing else matters. Get into this a little bit. Verse 12. Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. That is hard to do. Plain and simple, that is hard to do. Let me reread that a little bit slower. Put on then, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience. It's easy to have compassion for somebody when they're hurting. That's not the only time that you have to have compassion for them. Sometimes you have to have compassion, realize that maybe even when they're sinning, you have to feel sorry for them for being in that. You have to have that tenderness of heart to want to be there, even if they're sinning against you. Oh, right? How can I feel for this person who's doing this if they're sinning against me? Right? That doesn't feel good. Or better yet, someone that you love. Kindness. Who always wants to be kind? It's a hard thing. I sure have moments that being kind is not at the top of the list, right? Humility. Humility in everything. We normally think of being awarded or congratulated or whatever when we think of our pride being puffed up. That's not it. That's not the hard times. Sometimes it is for some people. What about in your own mind? That's what I'm thinking about. In your own mind, how often do you think, I am right? Regardless of if you are, if you're humble, you're willing to learn and listen to at least what the other person has to say. To maybe, especially if you're learning, to reevaluate what you think you know. I'm absolutely right. Well, you might not be. What if you're missing a point or two? You have to be, being humble is being willing to learn and to change what you think is absolutely right. If it lines up with the Bible, if we're talking something biblical. If it's something else, sure, that too. I might think I know everything there is to know about how to hang up a sign. But you know what? Somebody else might be like, dude, that sign's crooked. And they might know better. You know? And being willing to change. Meekness. It's not being walked over. Not being walked over. It's about so much more than that. About being that soft person. I'll let you ponder that. Patience. We all have moments when we want to react. The next I'll save for next time. Made it through verse 12. We only did 2 verses today. Practice these things. Have a really good day and try to put into practice all of these things we listed here in verse 12 in your daily life, and honestly evaluate yourself on how you do on these things. How do you do? That's my question for you. Feel free to answer in the comments. Like and subscribe, and have a really, really good day.